Hello, this is Nathan Goff for The Burning Truth. I've replaced my co-host for a one-off show. I am now being joined by Hughes, which is the United Wrestling and CCW star, heavyweight champion for CCW. I've joined him backstage. I've been welcomed backstage by him. Do a quick interview. We've been promising some things, so we've been chatting to him and we've been working out some things. How's everything going?
It's good, yeah. It's good to be on the show.
Nice one. I appreciate you take some time out of your busy schedule. It's nice of you join us. You looking forward to tonight?
I am, yeah. I've got a triple threat. It's a good little match planned. I've got two good talent. Not sure about Christopher Drew though. Don't know if I'm going to get on with him. Kind of seems a bit obnoxious with his little gentleman gimmick. Thinks he's posh, but I don't know. And Tommy Taylor, me and him have history from last month when he came on his debut to United Wrestling and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Simple as that.
Yeah, but are they worthy to step in the ring with the great AJ Hughes?
I mean, everyone's worthy, but whether or not they can do the job and get the 1, 2, 3 at the end of the night is a different story.
That's brilliant. So we're going to talk about some stuff, just get used to some things. As you've probably heard, I'm a big fan of yours from the podcast.
Yeah, I heard some of your stuff at the end of one of your shows.
So yeah, I was excited to get this. Matt set it up for me, even though you two don't have the greatest of it at the moment. It might set me up with contact and we've gone from there. So how did you originally break into the business?
Basically, my mates used to go to training school for WA, which is now United Wrestling, which was run by the owner of United Wrestling, Richard Lees, who ran his own training school. My mates would go in, saw a poster in a shop window as well. As soon as I hit my 10th birthday, next Friday, off I went down, no hesitations, £5 in hand. I walked in and I've never looked back since.
Nice. And how long have you been going for now?
9 years now.
9 years.
Started the Friday of my 10th birthday, so it's easy to remember my anniversary of starting. And then I'm 19 now, so...
10-year-old taking a Ric Flair bump. It must have been a nice 10th birthday, just being able to jump around the ring.
We didn't have a ring at the time. Well, we did, but I didn't train on the ring at the time. I was on mats for like the first 6 months or so, till I got used to bumping and all this basic stuff. Then I finally got my chance in the ring.
Nice. So when was your first match then?
My first match was a year and a half into training. It was just a tiny little show. It was pretty much just family of all the trainees. That was it. I did a 5-minute spot in a rumble, and that was where it took off, really.
Nice. And did you win, lose your first match? Was there any key moments that you still remember from it?
I remember taking a bump wrong and busting my nose open in my first match. That was quite fun. But apart from that, no, I got eliminated from the rumble, and that was the end of that.
Nice. So where did you get your first start then? Was that in Wales or was that around in England?
That was in Wales, where we used to train. It was only a small little tiny hall. That's why it was only family really. Like trainees, there wasn't posters put out, just trainees invited their family along. So we kind of packed out the hall with just all family and stuff. But that was about it.
Right, that's fair enough. So do you look at Paige now, looking at Paige at a similar age and thinking in a couple of years that could be you?
Yeah, I mean, I look at any British talent that goes over, like when Mason Ryan went over. I mean, like Paige has gone over now.
Great Welsh talent, Mason Ryan.
Yeah, I had some very inspirational words off him when I first met him. I met him at an All-Star show, and his words to me were, when I asked him about his size, I said, how did you get that big? And he turned around and goes, hard work and protein. If you can't do it that way, you can't do it at all. Which,
so like, steroid free.
Yeah, he pretty much told me, like, if you can't do it with hard work and protein, then you can't do it at all.
Which is fair enough.
But like, I look at them guys now and I think, well, I can be on that stage one day, even if it's not WWE, TNA. It's always good enough. It's a TV spot.
Yeah, and there's more TV stuff coming over in America with the rise of GFW, and you've got the Lucha Underground coming up as well. So there's more opportunities coming around finally.
Yeah, there's like all them. There's also like the ROH stuff. I know they only do internet people.
They're still on with the TV.
They're still a big company over in America. They're always a stepping stone. But other than that, that's where I want to head. Somewhere over there.
Yeah, so that's brilliant. So how does it feel to be the champion of CCW? I know that's took a lot of hard work. You're looking forward to it.
I turned up on the night, was told I was in the tournament. My first match would be a qualifier against Matt Burns. At the time, we did actually get on at the time. So the whole match was all about respect.
Yeah.
just showed off what we could do to each other, and from there I defeated him. I went through all the way. I got into the final against a masked wrestler that was there at the time, who later on in the night masked himself during the match. It turned out to be Tommy Hayden, who I was partners with in the Golden Embassy when I wasn't really a nice fella. But it turned out to be him under the mask, and there was another man under a mask who was Grant Sweeney, who was our manager or our mouthpiece. And at that point, something just clicked in my head. They turned on me and just left me like unable to stand at like the end of the last show that I was at with them. And
so payback's going to be a bit when you meet him again.
Well, I got my payback. First thing I did was I just took Tom off his feet, threw one stiff punch, got him straight above the eye, and it went from there. I think I managed to damage his ribs at some point as well.
Yeah.
That was like, he was on the ropes, just gave him a boot to the ribs, and
which is fair enough. So have you got any hopes, aspirations for 2015? Now we're coming towards the end of the 2014 year.
In 2015, I'm just hoping to start working towards working for more bigger companies in Britain itself, rather than like, I'm not looking at an international stage yet, more like broadening in Britain, as like I only wrestle for a limited amount of companies, so I want to step that up, get a little bit higher, get my name out there.
Yeah. So that's good. So we're looking forward to watching you on there. So you were talking a little bit earlier as we were just catching up, as it's been about 3 or 4 months since we actually bumped into each other due to schedules, and you were talking about who inspired you to get into wrestling.
Well, originally my inspiration was guys like Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy. They were the smaller guys, but the things they could do like athletically, and like just Rob Van Dam was my main one. Like, he wasn't exactly the biggest guy, he wasn't the smallest guy though at the same time, but the stuff he could do with his feet, like from his martial arts backgrounds and stuff like that, just like things he did in the ring, just made me think, wow. Like, I was mesmerised. I was mesmerised from the first time I saw him. I mean, like, obviously you watched like the likes of The Rock and Stone Cold at first, because like that's who everyone loved at the time. Now it's John Cena. It was like, if you ask any little kid about wrestling, they'll say John Cena or Rey Mysterio. And like them, it was always the Billy Kidmans, the Rob Van Dams, the people who weren't appreciated.
It was the Shawn Michaels, the Bret Harts for me. You know,
but like the people who at the time weren't appreciated like as much as they should be.
You're out second, okay?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we've just found out that you were on second tonight. Are you looking forward to that spot?
Yeah, I mean, opening shows are always a hard one. Like, every match on the card's always a hard match. I was like, I mean, you've got to go out there, give 110% every night. I was like, whether you like the crowd or not, you've still got to go out there, give them what you want.
You know, it's nice seeing you around in Stoke. You know, the wrestling scene's picking up.
Yeah, I mean, like, even United itself as a whole, moving forwards. I mean, we started down the road in Longton in Bids, like 7 years ago-ish.
Yeah, and now we're here in London Road Sports and Social Club.
Yeah, I mean, we get 2 shows a month in Stoke now, usually like a week apart or 2 weeks apart or something, and then like obviously being in the same town, like people know our history, people know who we've got history with.
And it's a very passionate crowd, isn't it?
Every time I'm here, like, obviously I'm Welsh, so I don't really get on with the crowd, they don't really like me, I get called all sorts of names, sheepdaggers, all that sort of stuff. But other than that, like, I've got to go out there at the end of the day, they pay their money to see me fight, I go out there and I give them what they want. Yeah.
So it's an interesting crowd. It's a very passionate crowd from like the Stoke side. Everyone here who comes here loves the wrestling. They love being into it. So it's so I guess from your point you can gain off the energy as such.
Yeah, I mean, like, the atmosphere out there always gives you the adrenaline rush to do more than you can. I mean, like, every time someone hits you with something big, like, the only thing that makes you kick out is the fact that them crowd, like, just behind whoever they're behind. I was like, even if they hate me, I'm still going to want to kick out just to put on a good show in the end of the day.
No worries. And we were going to mention funny road stories. Have you got any funny road stories that you can tell about my the colleague?
Well, I've got 2 actually. The first one was a couple of years ago in Bids. When Matt Burns wasn't really liked by the crowd at the time. He was wrestling a guy called Scott Schuyler. Matt Burns managed to rip his pants. It was only a small hole, but as he was crawling around the ring, Scott Schuyler decided that he'd stick his finger inside his tights. That one tickled me at the time when I was sat in the back. And there's also the other one of I was in a match. It was a tag match. It was, I can't remember who I was tagging with, but Matt Burns was tagging with the Lethal Weapon Richard Lees, and I interviewed Matt Burns, at some point during the match, and I think I knocked him out a little bit. Tagged 3-4 maybe hands of Richard Lees, and it took him about 2-3 minutes to compose himself and manage to get the tag itself. So that one was quite funny as well, watching him. I was at the time trying to recover from a beatdown, but it was still a funny moment to watch out of my eyes.
So what are some of your favourite matches that you've had then so far? And it's a long career for someone your age. But have you got any favourite matches that...
Favourite matches that I've had? I have to say the no disqualification match for the rights to the CCW company between the Golden Embassy, which was me and Tommy Hayden, and against Team CCW, which at the time was Keith Matthews and Jack Union. That match, we just brawled all over the room really. Just, everything went. At the end of the night, I lost. That's when Tommy Hayden and Grant Sweeney decided that I wasn't good enough to be in the embassy anymore, which I don't really mind now because I've got a title.
Yeah, you've proved yourself. You are the standard bearer of that company.
When Grant first offered me and Tom to join in, he promised us gold, never delivered. Once I finally left, it was literally the show after I left the embassy. I took gold myself with no help. So that one proved worthy, really.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. We're backstage, everyone's getting ready, here, lumbering up. It's quite an interesting atmosphere.
Yeah,
it's nice to see. It's a unique perspective.
Yeah, I mean the locker room's always a funny place. You got your guys who don't like each other. They sit on the sides of the room or whatever. You've always got the guys the nice guys in the back who they try and portray themselves. They always try and entertain themselves in corners, doing anything they can. You got the people like Scott Schuyler also, who sits on the other side of the room, usually just tries to entertain everyone. Sometimes gets on your nerves when you're trying to get calm and set ready to go for your match. But I mean, like, even if you don't like them kind of guys, you've still got to giggle at them.
They're entertaining to be around. Have you got any pre-match routines that you like to go through before a match?
Just when you get the footage, just have a watch. That's all I can really say, because it's just going to be fast-paced action. All three of us, small, high-flyer guys.
Is there anything you like to do backstage before a match, get you ready?
My preparation for a match, as my entrance music hits, I'll finish spraying myself off. I'll take a mouthful of water. I'll take a moment to remember my nine. To the English people is my grandma. Then I'll make a cross, I'll kiss my tattoo and I'll point to it, and that's when I'll enter the ring. I always like to get in finally, give it a kiss, and I'll hang it over a turnbuckle, and then I'll hang my jacket over the top of that on the post itself. That's kind of like my little good luck charm, if you want to call it that.
So that's decent. So, anything we should watch out for tonight? Because hopefully we're going to try link the matches through to the page if we can at the same time.
Well, like last month, I managed to hit Tom Taylor with my first ever curb stomp. Just watch out for that guy. That's coming. It's vicious. He'll hit.
Is it like the Dean Ambrose curb stomp?
Well,
not the Dean Ambrose, the Seth Rollins one.
The Seth Rollins curb stomp, yeah. I mean, I watched Seth Rollins do it a few times, especially when he turned on the Shield. Great moment in time. And when he did it to Dean Ambrose on that chair, I was just like, I'm gonna nick that. I'm gonna do it myself.
I suppose it's interesting. Have you ever watched other people and seen stuff and gone, that's awesome, I want that?
Well, most of my moveset I base around Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy, because most of it's used by their feet, and before I started wrestling I used to do karate at a young age, so obviously I got martial arts background as well, so I was good with my strikes with my feet, so I always try and base what I can do around my feet. Obviously my last couple of finishes that I've started using that people start getting used to, so I had to change. Have been my feet, been super kicks, trouble in paradise, now curb stomp, all use your feet. So there's that.
Well, that's fair enough. So I know you've got to shoot off in a couple of minutes, finish your preparations. I appreciate you taking some time out of a busy day for me. Looking forward to watching the match. If we have time to catch up later, we might catch up a little bit later. If not, I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah,
You're back
good
in
to be on
Stoke
the
next week, aren't you?
Yeah.
Which is Bids and Longton.
Yes.
Do you know your match there, or?
Well, from what I know already, at the moment, is apparently I'm supposed to be facing White Tiger, who's in the main event tonight, so that'll be a really hard match.
Have you
for me.
faced each other before?
No, not at all. He's had his little thing with Square. He's facing Barricade tonight.
So it'll be interesting. What's that? You know, it could be like a X Division style match.
Yeah,
For people that watch TNA.
It'll be fast paced. It'll be like an Indian American style sort of thing. But yeah,
Right then, that's
fast
brilliant.
paced, high flying.
Yeah, well that's brilliant. As I said, I appreciate you taking your time out your day. Hope all goes well tonight. Hope you win, and hope you take one. Hope you do one for Wales.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on the show.
No problem. Nice one.
Cheers.
One more.